Tosh.0 versus Ridiculous, the beef over a stolen show. Ooh.
What started out as a friendly competition over two similar TV shows escalated quickly when Rob Dyrdek threatened Daniel Tosh. Then again, Tosh joking about Rob being a PDF file was
just out of left field, holy crap.
Potentially taking things too far.
You want me to apologize? For what? You being a bitch?
The Ridiculousness vs. Tosh.0 beef was surprising.
They kind of look like the same phenotype, man. They look alike a lot, man.
Because both of these guys are generally well-liked, but their polar opposite motivations for creating a comedy clip show was the perfect recipe for disaster. Rob once said, "I try to seize every opportunity I can. I've already filled my bucket list many times over. Business is my passion." Rob's life has been seemingly a never-ending stairway to success, becoming a professional skateboarder as a teenager, starting his own skateboard accessory company, designing a shoe that generated him $300,000 per year in royalties, founding a hip-hop record label, doing magazine covers, wearing iced-out Rolexes, teaming up with his security guard to produce and act in Robin Big, an MTV reality.
We watched an entire little YouTube video about this. Yeah, I remember this guy. He's a great businessman.
Show that stole the hearts of millions of fans around the world, only to follow that up with another banger of a show called Fantasy Factory, which was literally a show about him pursuing new business ventures while messing around with his friends. He even became a stuntman, jumping a speeding car backwards, barrel rolling a Chevy Sonic, and getting mauled by a tiger. Rob documented his exhilarating life, elevating his public persona while leveraging his celebrity status to secure a multi-million-dollar fortune. Daniel Tosh, on the other hand, once said, "Stand-up is the only thing I have ever been good at, and even that depends on who you ask." While Rob was steamrolling through life, accomplishing everything his heart desired, Daniel Tosh was merely focused on one thing: building a comedic legacy.
I waste so much time in my life. I could have accomplished so much more, but I have no dreams, like real dreams. I sit at home thinking about, how come nobody with a Lamborghini ever pulls up next to me and is like, "Hey man, you want this car?" I'm like, yeah, I do. Yes! I got a Lamborghini today.
Tosh got his start hosting a show called Tens for a local television station called Whammy in Miami, Florida, where Daniel would interview and mock the best-looking guys and girls on South Beach. He moved to Los Angeles in the late 90s and performed short stand-up sets in comedy clubs to slowly build his reputation. In 2001, he got a spot on The Late Show with David Letterman, which helped him become a recognizable face in the comedy scene.
You think it's trendy for young kids in Japan to get tattoos of words written in English?
With that momentum, he was able to book comedy shows around the country, with a majority of those being held at universities. From there, he launched—
You can say that's a really old joke, but he said that in 2001. He was kind of ahead of his time.
His first special in 2003 on Comedy Central.
That's a game I used to play as a child. The floor is lava. It's when you'd climb on all the furniture in your house and you couldn't touch the floor. Yeah, you might have called it something completely different, but it meant the same thing. You were poor.
Oh, come on. I think it's a universal thing.
Yeah, because I remember going, "Mom, I would like a Nintendo." And she's like, "The floor is lava." I'm like, what the hell is wrong with our house? Why can't we afford carpet? It's called 2 jobs.
Tosh simply focused on mastering his craft for years, working on material to gear up for the release of his second Comedy Central special, Completely Serious.
I was watching the country music channel the other day and I fell asleep and I woke up racist.
As we entered 2008, YouTube and Facebook were slowly taking over pop culture, with random hilarious videos going viral every day. Comedy Central brainstormed an idea for a comedy clips show, and Tosh was a master of short, punchy jokes. Combine that with a fearless approach to controversial topics, an immense cult-like following of college kids, and devilish good looks, Comedy Central knew he was their star. Tosh.0 debuted in the summer of 2009 and focused on showcasing viral internet videos, memes, social media content, and trending topics, accompanied by—
Oh my god, he made fun of Greta Thunberg. Oh lord, I remember that. He got so much shit for that, even though he was really softballing the jokes. Not gonna lie. Yeah, he got a lot of shit for that, even though he didn't really punch that hard.
Tosh's satirical commentary and often controversial humor.
Yeah, he was still safe.
I came up with a list of brand new terms that have absolutely no racial connotation whatsoever. I field tested them with an extremely diverse focus group.
Sugar taster. That's A little offensive.
What do you think sugar taster means?
I don't know. I don't know why you think that he tastes sugar.
Why
Excuse me, you're white. Hello?
do you keep pointing to the black person?
That's what I
Well,
want.
They?
They?
The concept of this
What?
show is not really original. Before Tosh, you
White
had The
woman
Soup, hosted by
being
Joel
born.
McHale, Web Junk, hosted by Patrice O'Neal, and even YouTuber Ray William Johnson laid the foundation for
I feel like my bone density just increased, man. I hated this guy when I was a kid. I hated this guy. I thought he was so fucking douchey and obnoxious.
Equals 3
Some
slightly
people liked
before
him,
Tosh.
but I didn't get it.
Now, most clip shows rely on the clips themselves to
That's
produce the
my
humor,
opinion.
almost removing the need for a host in the first place. And while Tosh did find good content that is funny, shocking, or absurd on its own, more often than not, it was his jokes and commentary that actually made the clips funnier.
Seems you
Yeah.
guys finally pushed the foremost authority on style past his breaking point.
This video is for all you stupid f***ing trolls and haters online, saying mean and hurtful things about
Oh my
fedoras.
god.
You're not the only cool guy whose hat game has been mocked.
You wish you could pull off a cloak. You imbeciles know nothing of this hat.
But what made Tosh.0 stand out from all the rest was the
Oh no! I remember. Bro, I memory hold this shit. I swear.
iconic web redemption segment he would
The
do at
web
the end of every
redemptions,
episode.
yes!
Tosh would invite
He
one of the
invites
individuals who
them.
became viral for embarrassing or cringeworthy moments on the show for a chance to redeem themselves. He would interview them with his
Angry soulless ginger freaks.
signature sarcastic humor and allow them to share more details behind the viral clip, then finalizing the bit with a reenactment of their viral moment with an absurd or
his
comedic
hair.
twist. He brought on classic internet stars like Welvin D's Nuts to Great,
You know Malone, right?
Carl?
No, Malone.
No, what's Malone?
Malone.
Oh, you long. I got it.
He also brought on pretty much every iconic local
Malone
news
Dick.
viral sensation: Sweet Brown, the I Like Turtles Kid, and Antoine Dodson.
What do you want people to know about you?
They know I'm openly gay. That's mainly what I want to get out. I don't give.
That you're gay? I think people knew that about 1 second into your video.
No,
And even though this was just a clip show, clearly sketch comedy was where Daniel Tosh thrived. The first season of Tosh.0 was a surprise hit and averaged more than 1 million viewers per episode, but then
That's
it
a
got
lot.
even bigger. The second season averaged nearly 2 million total viewers and was the most watched show in its time slot among men 18 to 24 and men 18 to 34. Tosh.0 was absolutely taking over. Little did he know he had some competition on the horizon, as Rob Dyrdek, who was equally loved, was about to launch Ridiculousness, a show that was suspiciously similar to Tosh.0. Even though Ridiculousness premiered 2 years after Tosh.0, Rob claims he actually came up with the idea 4 years prior and even sold it to MTV.
Now I was doing both of them at the same time, so I actually sold them both.
If you sold him to MTV, then them hiring Tosh to do the show earlier than you did, that's on MTV, not Tosh, I think.
At the exact same time.
They bought
I
two
don't
shows
know.
from you at one
Because
time.
originally I read the article like in 2007 of Vinny DeBona's $500 million global syndication
know
of
about
America's
this.
Funniest Home Videos, and was like, man, like I need to make that. I should just make the cool version of America's Funniest Home Videos.
While Tosh.0 was optimized to make people laugh, Ridiculousness was optimized to make money. In 2008 and 2009, Rob spent most of his days filming episodes for Fantasy Factory, and they just took a lot of time. Planning extravagant stunts like jumping a speeding car backwards would take months of planning and preparation. Now, MTV was paying him $125,000 per episode, so a little more effort was worth it, but they only offered to pay him $30,000 per episode for
Only
Ridiculousness.
35.
So from a business perspective, he wanted to spend as little time working on that show to maximize his revenue.
Just such a nightmare, and I'd be there all day, to where now I shoot 8 of them in under 5 hours, right? So it's a much more highly optimized, efficient machine. And then for me, it takes very little energy and time to execute it, and it's sort of brand neutral. A lot of people don't even know if I still film them. You know what I mean? They don't even realize.
But again, Tosh.0 had the value of having his own skits on top of the meme videos that are being posted. Like, imagine if they did that now. Like, we had a VTuber that basically would watch memes and then act out the skits and then plan them ahead because they are skits. Obviously, you have to plan it out. Like, I feel like that's completely different from going, like, reacting in a live audience. You're putting in, like, effort in a different way.
As I shoot 336 brand new ones every single year, you know.
However, many critics believe that this business model negatively impacts the quality of the show. Ridiculousness is about as basic of a clip show as it gets. Rob hosts alongside Sterling Stilo Brim and Chanel West Coast. They play viral internet videos, often featuring people's outrageous, embarrassing, or downright bizarre antics grouped together in themed segments.
You can get too much air, right? And as someone that spent his whole life flying through the air, there's occasionally you push it too far and you get broken. Just like everybody in this category, TMA, too much air. Got it. Keep going, bro. Keep going.
There was another clip show. I just can't remember what it was called. It was like late at night. Yeah, it was boring. I mean, it's nice. It was nice to like just zone out, but nothing special.
That's some rough water to land in.
Man, it's just rough altogether.
Really? No way.
Like, about right here, it's time to bail out. It really is. Yeah.
Let go. Why are you this high in the air?
Man, and you were about to start going down. You bailed at the wrong time.
AFV best clip show. Yeah.
There is no scripting and very little rehearsal. Rob essentially goes on set, does a sort of freestyle reaction to whatever he is watching, which usually results in him just laughing or highlighting exactly what the viewer just saw.
What's up, though?
Whoa, net shot!
Oh, she don't want no siblings.
Man, not only that, but he can't even get up to punish her. She says, ah.
Occasionally, Rob will invite a celebrity guest on who also tends to give a basic, raw reaction to the content. Howie Mandel recalled his experience being on the show.
So
I went in, I walked right onto the set. They said roll. I was out of there. It's a half-hour show, is it? Yeah. I think I was out of there in 40 minutes.
Season 1, Episode 1 of Ridiculousness aired on August 29th, 2011 and started off hot, averaging about 2 million viewers per episode. That made it extremely competitive with Tosh.0's viewership, so he decided to say something. Tosh tweeted, "Congrats, Rob Dyrdek. New show looks very funny and familiar."
Again, I think that Daniel shouldn't have done that because his one was so much more, how do I say it? Like, more well thought out. The clips were probably sourced in a more, not authentic, maybe that's the wrong word, but like there's purpose behind it because he would try and make skits out of it. The redemption thing was really smart. Again, the arrogance shouldn't have been there. I don't think there's anything wrong with like reacting to clips and inviting celebrities onto it. But I just don't think that they're equivocal.
Dyrdek fired back, "Thank you so much, Daniel Tosh.
Not a one-to-one.
Maybe later this week, you, Bob Saget, and Tom Bergeron can come down to my factory and play." This sarcastic back and forth between the two seemed harmless, but secretly, Tosh was plotting his revenge on Rob. Shortly after their online exchange, Tosh.0 dedicated an entire web redemption segment to trolling Rob. Tosh interviews his guest, who was a skateboarder that was struck by a vehicle in his viral video, only to find out that they are conducting the interview in Tony Hawk's pool.
Got to.
Oh wait, I saw this.
Hey, you kids! How many damn times I gotta tell you to quit training in the pool? Now fill it back up, or I'm calling the police.
You always been this cranky old man Hawk?
You kids are wasting your lives. No one's ever made a living riding a skateboard. Now get.
Tosh bringing Tony Hawk into a sketch dissing Rob Dyrdek is Drake-level pettiness. Anyways, Tosh brings his guest to a skate park inside of a warehouse.
But it's still funny. I think even to me, when I was a kid and I saw this, I didn't understand that they had beef. It was just a great skit.
House called Daniel's Childish Dreams Factory for Young Boys Only, which is quite literally the exact same building as Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory, but with the sign covered. Tosh is dressed exactly like Rob, wearing a zip-up hoodie, a flat brim hat cocked sideways, while holding 2 puppies.
Welcome to my Childish Dream Factory for Young Boys Only.
Yikes!
Like the Fantasy Factory?
No, it doesn't. This is my own original idea that I had years ago before he did. I was just too busy with other projects to see it through.
I didn't even know that.
It's got everything
I
you could
didn't
ever
even know
want.
this was a
if the only
beef
thing you ever
thing.
wanted was to hang out with 12-year-old shirtless boys.
Throughout the sketch, Tosh acts like a creep towards the little boys, even offering them a suspicious beverage with pills in it. At the end, the skateboarder crashes into Tosh's friend, Big Sack, a parody of Rob's best friend, Christopher Big Black Boykin. The sketch is hilarious, but Dyrdek...
Again, way too much salt. You're way too salty. You have something that is equivocally so much better, in my opinion, and you just kind of shit all over it.
didn't like the idea that his name was being joked about alongside Belia.
That's my
He
opinion,
tweeted, "The idea of having beef with Daniel Tosh is truly embarrassing.
Oh
For
my God,
real.
Twitter
Imagine
beef.
that. Clip show host beef. But the beef is now very real." Followed by, "I am not a comedian or an actor, so unfortunately for Daniel Tosh, we are going to have to settle this the old-fashioned way. Hashtag see you soon." To which Tosh responded, "Fair enough, but if you have to beat me up, can we film it and put it on my show so people will actually watch it?" As if threatening physical violence against Tosh wasn't already the worst possible
good,
way
actually.
to react to being hilariously trolled.
I wanna get
Tosh
farmed.
absolutely demolished him with that response on Twitter. Rob did not fire back on Twitter, but he did seem a bit agitated.
Tosh feels like I just watched his show and then decided to do a video show because his show was successful, which is so absurd to me. If I did in fact look at that and be like, oh, I could do a version of that, which is just so ridiculousness. But I don't know. For whatever reason, he's really butthurt about it. And the idea, he's like a comedian who writes these skits around all the stuff. I just play videos and just get up there and freestyle.
Yeah,
I'm not
I think that's valid.
So that's really what it stems from, and why he's so emotional about my show is beyond me. It's really insane.
He even suggested he might still be willing to throw hands.
He got out of pocket, then I got a little out of pocket via Twitter, which you don't do, because if you take something personal, you should probably handle it.
Yeah, I heard you said you're gonna beat him up.
I didn't
Rob,
say that.
you kind of did, dude.
I didn't say that. What we like to say is we're putting that behind us.
We're putting it behind. So if you guys run into each other, it'll be all good.
Yeah, who knows? You never know.
It seemed like most people were siding with Tosh, with one fan explaining, "Tosh takes shots at everyone, just like South Park does."
Stop right there. Hold on. Objectively, it is two different shows. Just because you play clips on it, one of them is a comedy skit and the other one's just reacting to it. No, I think it's a little bit personal. The pedo jokes, I don't know.
It's comedy and poking fun at each other. It's part of it. This is not a controversy or beef. It's a comedy skit. Rob's the one who is butthurt. Tosh has never said anything about his feud with Dyrdek after this controversy. However, we do know that he's not one to apologize.
You want me to apologize? For what? You being a bitch?
We recently got insight that he and his team felt some level of disdain towards Dyrdek and Ridiculousness, when YouTuber Roman Atwood recalled a story of the Tosh.0 team trying to purchase one of his viral clips.
Tosh.0 was calling, and all these shows were calling that I was like, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this. You guys were in season 1, I believe. Even sooner
buying
than
the
we
rights
call
for
the
it.
video.
Yeah, but what happened was Tosh.0,
Tosh battle.
Tosh
Tosh
wanted it,
battle.
and they said, this is his true story. He said, yeah, Ridiculous is never going to make it past season 1.
Tosh.0's team could not have been more wrong. Even through the rise of social media and decline of traditional cable TV, Ridiculousness remained a dominant show. Even though the viewership declined during episode premieres, they would air the show anytime, any day, and people would not change the channel. It's easily digestible content.
It's because you don't have to think about it. Unfortunately, the brain rots really started seeping in when smartphones came around. People started watching TV with their phones out and scrolling Twitter or answering emails and shit. Yeah, it's like an actual psychological phenomenon. Yeah, the brain rot.
There is no storyline you have to follow, so it doesn't matter what season or episode you're watching. Even if it's 2 a.m. and you don't have any brain capacity to focus, you can still watch it. Hell, you could probably watch this show with the volume muted and it still might be engaging. Around 2018, Ridiculousness occupied about 60% of the network's time slots.
What? Bro, they are farming that shit. That's insane.
Sometimes airing for multiple days straight with no breaks. To celebrate
You know what? I actually think that When I watched cable when I was a kid, there were some times where it's just back to back to back of the same show for like days on end. Yeah, like MTV was really egregious with it. Oh, you want to know what I remember too? Do you guys remember when they do marathons of like certain shows on like Cartoon Network and you'd be like, I don't want to watch this crap, and they do it anyway? I hated that shit because I'd want variety even if I liked something. Yeah, like SpongeBob, they do like a marathon of SpongeBob like on a certain day. Oh my gosh, I hated that.
TV's 40th anniversary, which does stand for music television, by the way, they aired Ridiculousness for 24 hours straight. Yeah! Ridiculousness has produced 42 seasons, having over 1,000 episodes, and likely has hundreds, maybe thousands of more episodes to come. The production company Rob Dyrdek built that produced Ridiculousness, called Super Jacket, he sold to Thrill One Sports and Entertainment for $190 million.
Holy you know what I mean? Like, I just go and like freestyle them. Like, I'm like, it for 30 minutes and it's like, oh, you just did a flawless show where you just made everything up. You know what I mean? It's like, it's really just sort of this fun, fast-paced experience, but make no mistake, make no mistake, it is only for the money.
Tosh.0, on the other hand, was canceled by Comedy Central in 2020, but still it thrived for 12 seasons spanning over a decade during the downfall of cable. It's even more impressive that Tosh basically did everything he could to stay anonymous. Tosh rarely had celebrity guests. He hired a team to run his social media for him. He never did interviews. He never did any box office hit movies.
Based, honestly. Yeah, that's based.
He never did major brand sponsorships. He never collaborated on tours with other comedians. He never jumped on podcasts. He never did a roast. All he did was focus on making the best show possible and ultimately letting his comedy speak for itself. And he had a damn good run. It's unlikely that these two men still hold any animosity towards each other. Rob admitted he overreacted, and it's clear that Tosh was just trolling. Just because Rob made a clip show designed for profit doesn't make him a bad guy, especially considering how brutally honest he is about it. Rob Dyrdek gave his fans high quality, amazing content for years via Robin Big and Fantasy Factory, so he is well deserving of his success. Tosh is hilarious, and was hilarious until the very end of his show, and him being a great comedian was all his fans ever wanted from him. So in the end, they both won.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. I don't know about high quality in terms of the clip show, but I had no idea they had beef. Again, I saw that clip. I did. I watched this original episode with him making fun of him with the factory, and I was like, I think I know about the factory. Like, what has this got to do with it? And I kind of laugh. Like, you know, you laugh, but you don't really get it. And I was like, oh, he's a little bit salty. I also thought it was 100% a skit. Again, I think it's a little bit over the line. Like, calling him a pedo, I don't know. I think that was a little bit over the line. Again, if there's a grain of truth to it, like, sure. But, like, implying that he's a pedo, I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way in the way that he's a little bit too salty. You could have made a gay joke or something. Again, he could have made a joke about it only being for men and, like, saying, like, it's a gay gym workout, I think. But the pedo thing,